Good morning, good evening. Hey, I got a lot of allergies today. Air quality in this place is bad, the heat, so bear with me. And that's all part of what we're going to talk about, too. Let me start off on the right foot. I want to thank one of the channels I was watching, one of her lives, and she mentioned about an FWB that didn't work out. And it just triggered the need to discuss FWB, dating, marriage, relationships, 2026. Let's get real here, folks. Let's unpack this. Our text today, that's the head over all this, is what we all need to remember. Psalm 127:1. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman keeps awake in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to retire late, to eat the bread of painful labors, for he gives to his beloved even in his sleep. The key verse, unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain who build it. If God is not God of your life, well, it sucks to be you. Things may work. Satan blesses. Make no mistake about it. And there's a rise in attraction to Satan. And we're going to showcase some women. We're going to talk about issues. We're going to talk about when you date a woman. Now, I'm talking from a man's perspective, but you can apply this to men as well. I don't want to hear a bunch of women get on here and say, not all women are like this. Well, not all men are like this. Yada, 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 yada. No brainer. We got that. I'm a man. I'm going to tell you the way I view the world. People have taken issue with me dressing like this. They have a problem with it. I was asked last night by several in the live chat, are you wearing a bra? No, I'm not wearing a bra. I'd like to, though. I think it'd be fun. And when people think of a cross-dresser, they think, oh my gosh, fruitcake. One woman even recently called me a fruit. Said, I don't date a man that wears women's clothes. That's awesome. You shouldn't. But let me tell you what I won't date and I won't mate and I don't go for. Because we always hear about what women want and we hear all day long about what women want in a guy. But are they listening to what we have to say? Ironically, as a grown man at 60, I look better than most of the women I'm going to showcase for you today. These are random pictures on the internet. Okay? We're going to talk about things, but I'm going to start with this. If God does not build what you're doing, if God is not the author of it, it will be a sand castle with a wave hitting it. You go after that girl and it's not God's will. You move her into your house. It is not God's will. You sleep with her before marriage. It is not God's will. And then you wonder why it went. And now you got drama and you got problems and now she's mad at you. And you created a bond. We're going to talk about something today. And I speak as one having experience. I have not moved in with chicks. I don't support it. Playing house is for little children that haven't grown up. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. Moving in your boyfriend, girls. Moving into your girlfriend. I find that many men like to move into the woman's house. That's the first mistake. You're a little boy that hasn't grown up. Go get your own place. Go get your own castle and do it right. You moving into the chick's house is wrong on every level. You're not the man. And I notice these men that move in with their girlfriend, they want to pretend they're tough out there in real life. You are a wussy. Go get your own place. I will stand behind that. Women that let a man move into their house is a foolish chickie. Men, bringing a girlfriend to live in your house, you are asking for trouble. Try to kick her out when things go bad. Oh, you can't. Now you got to give her an eviction notice. Now you got to go to court. She can be in there for 6 months, kick holes in the wall, smoke pot, tear up your life, tear up your world. You can't touch, you can't do nothing. There's more rights for wicked, bad people today than there are for honest, upright people. Do not let them live in your house. Don't let them bring their toothbrush. Don't let them bring their duffel bag, their overnight bag. They got contents in your house. You're cooked. You're screwed. You go over to South Carolina. A woman's got a toothbrush in the man's sink. Can be proof enough she's living there. Doesn't matter whether you charge her rent or not. Let me say it one more time. Unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards a city, the watchman keeps awake in vain. If you are doing in your life things that God has said, thou shalt not, don't question why it ain't blessed. I'm going to use people I know, and I am no way picking on them. I've done my own share of oat sowing. I could own an oatmeal factory. I had a friend who was dating a woman. I was really hoping it worked out. They slept together, had sex regularly. She got pissy. She got bossy. She got tired of him. I watched a woman's channel today that I've gotten to know, and it's sad. She said, friends with benefits, well, it didn't go as I planned. Of course it didn't. The problem with people in American culture is we have an underlying belief that we can do what we want and the consequences should only be good. You've got to be kidding yourself. For the Christian, the Bible says, you are not your own. You've been bought with a price. That price was blood. We forget that. We take it for granted. We're terrible about remembering Jesus Christ laid down his life. He didn't go to the movies on Friday night. He didn't pull up at a lift kit pickup and slide his hand around a girl and say, yo, girl. He followed God's will. We don't even understand that. We in American culture have been born under a curse. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we are all suffering because we think it's about us. We think it's about our happiness. We think it's about our freedom. Yeah, everybody in America thinks that freedom means they can do whatever they want, including those offensive problem people that create urban terrorism going down the street with and that stupid racket they call music shaking houses. When we get away from this, you get nothing but problems. You move in your girlfriend, you're out of the will of God. You disturbing your neighborhood, you're out of the will of God. You screwing around on the clock, not giving an honest day's work, you're out of the will of God. You're smoking, you're getting drunk, you're doing drugs, you're getting obese because you're a glutton, you're out of the will of God. When you sin, you're out of the will of God. When I sin, I'm out of the will of God. When I sin, and I have, and I do, and I have. Have I slept with women before marriage? Many, 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 many. How many you want to know about? Because in our culture, in our Hollywood world, Hollywood has made it palatable. I'm going to tell you something, women. I'm going to give you a harsh reality. You want to be loved by men. But when you start doing this and you make it easy, you give us no reason till death do us part. If I can get free treats without all the stuff I'm about to show you, I'm going to go get a goodie bag. If a woman's going to let me play with these and experience her body, but I don't have to marry her and be stuck with all of the 747 baggage that's in her life, you bet your bippy I'm going to do it. Let me show you some of these things. Let's get into some real truth here. When we think of dating men, this is what we want it to look like. Oh, isn't that hot? Isn't that beautiful? That's not what it looks like ever. Even with her, there are problems. But guess what? It's 2026, guys, and now you got to compete with this. These are cartoon drawings, so they don't violate anything. Isn't that cute? Isn't that sweet? Now you got to compete against this. Look at this. Women complain about me dressing feminine. Look at that one on the left with the sports jersey. She looks like she's ready to go on the football field. Isn't that a hunka-dunka? Let's talk about this. We can use cartoon drawings, by the way. Let's talk about these women today that are judging us like nobody's business. Let's talk about one that might be interested in men. That beautiful dress barn girl. I don't earn enough money for her. She's too good for me. Boring, no passion, but she thinks she's all that on a stick. What about this? Now, I think she's beautiful. Nice petite body. She's good looking. Physically, I would have chemistry with that, hands down. But let's talk about this. What you see is not what you get. What's she listening to? What's she smoking? What's she drinking? What drug is she using? What does the inside of her house and her car look like? What do her bills look like? How about this? Oh, I'd go on a date with her in a minute. But would she be a good wife and mate for me? I like the way she's dressing. She's sexy. I like her clean-shaven underarms. She's hot. Oh, I'd like to be on her. I would love to date her. But guess what? See the masks next to her? What mask is she wearing? Which one? Let's go. Let's do this. When you go into her house, you got to use the bathroom. That's what it looks like. Isn't that fun? But she's cute, man. She's sexy, right? You got to live in that every day. It sucks. You can't even get to the sink. Women be like, you left the toilet seat up again. Yeah, what's this? I had a Filipina friend that I was interested in years ago. Her sink looked like that. That's not her sink. I did not go in and take stolen shots. That sink is clean compared to hers. All the way around the sink, on the floor, everywhere. On the toilet tank was 9 million women makeup and hair products and whatever. I said, Mia, I can't even get to your sink. What do you mean? I said, there's so much crap in here. Don't call it crap. I said, you live like this? It's a mess. Just remember something, men. Women are like kittens. They're so cute. And they scratch the couch and they pee in the corner and then they tear up everything with their claws and they leave hair everywhere. You want that? You want to deal with all that? You know, cute sometimes is a problem. When we think of dating and falling in love, that's what we want. I mean, let's be honest, man. She walked up to me and said, excuse me, I'm alone. Would you be my date? Who's going to say no? I'm not. On looks alone, we're so stupid. That little thing between our legs is a problem, man. She's hot. If she came and knocked at my front door dressed like that, I'd be like, did you knock on the... No, Michael, I want you. I mean, I would probably lose all of my resolve right now. Right now. How about this? These are just pictures, folks, on the internet, random, and people judging and saying this or that. Got a little bit of that flat tummy showing. Yeah. You think you're dating just that? How about this? Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Is that awesome? Or how about this sweet? Now that's pretty. Isn't she cute? But the problem is, what you see is not what you get. Always remember that. Men and women, all of us, this applies. This is what you get when you date a woman. Right there. I want you to listen to the sound of that on takeoff. I want you to look at how big that is. Today in 2026, when you get involved with somebody, that is what you're dating. A 747 loaded with baggage. This is what you get when you date a beautiful woman. You get to share her lips with a dog's lips. She's sleeping in the bed with that thing. Ew! Yucky. And they want to talk about me dressing feminine. You go over to her house and it looks like this in the living room. Isn't that fun? Doesn't that sound like a good night? Sit on the couch and watch TV. All these critters and her fur babies and her children and her family jumping all over you. Isn't that awesome? I've seen places like that. I have. I'm going to tell y'all something. You got a woman that's into pets to that degree, run. Run. People criticize the way I look, but watch this. I had a woman get on yesterday that looked like the devil incarnate in a female. Telling me I wouldn't know what beauty is if it slapped me across the face. Telling me I was judging women when I talked about dress barn culture. Obviously, something I said but hurt her because it was the truth. She looked like this. You imagine waking up and forgetting where you are and you see that, you'd probably scream and run out of the room. I did a video in Hong Kong titled Western Women Are Destroying Themselves. I did another video saying feminism has destroyed Western women. And I noticed more men and women are starting to look like that, and they're happy as a clam. People ask, would you date a woman with tattoos? I would. That, no way. No way. Absolutely not. I wouldn't date this. That's too much. That's not right. And those are the kind of people judging me. Look at this. We got the attitude and everything. And women, you're going to get mad at me soon if you have tattoos. I'm not. Let's give a disclaimer. I'm not a tattoo and piercing guy myself. You want to do that? That's your business. There's consequences for how far you take it. When you turn your face into a graffitied railroad car, don't expect me to come a-calling. Women that do that are disturbed. They're not right. They're not well adjusted. Women like that are rebelling. They got an attitude. They're marching to the beat of a satanic drum. A woman like that is marching to Satan. That is not a godly woman. That is not a woman who loves the Lord. Can she be saved and forgiven? Absolutely. But if you want to date that, you're going to get all the territory that comes with it. This. When they're so fixated on all these tats and they've desecrated their face and their neck and everything, you're not just dating a girl. You're dating a lifestyle. You're dating a funk. People don't like it when I say this. I'm sorry, but women and men that do that to their ears, go look at Africa and look at tribes. They're doing that crap. They do that with their mouth. I can tell by looking at her face and her eyes. That is not a sweetheart. Side of the head shaved, that is not a sweetie. And to the woman who made the rude comment, if you are listening to me, I have dated and mated women that could run circles around you for beauty in the United States, in the Philippines, in Hong Kong. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay? You came and judged me and you got tats and piercings all over your face. You got a lot of nerve, baby. There's nothing feminine, nothing ladylike about you. There's nothing feminine. See, this kind of a woman will judge me dressing feminine. What is that? That looks like Eminem's sister. I don't care if people are offended. That is not a woman who fears the Lord. That's a woman who's got deep, disturbed issues. You've destroyed whatever looks you may have had. Destroyed. And yet the men go after, look at this. This is a beautiful girl here. She not dressed like a guy at all, right? She looks like one of the broskies, man. And these are the kind of people judging the way I dress. There's nothing feminine about Brittany Griner. Nothing. She's the man in the relationship. This is a rapper. The whole rap music, and I was listening to a video this morning momentarily. Person's playing that B word, cuss word, B word. You date a woman and she's listening to that, that's in your house. She ain't gonna not listen to it, not defend you. Whatever she's into, you have to accept all that. I don't want to come home and listen to that. I will literally have a fit. I don't want to hear that in my house. You want to listen to disturbed music and then you want to judge me for the way I dress? Get out of my house. That stuff is demonic and it's oppressive. Women that are listening to music with the cussing and the N-word and that rap cadence are disturbed. They have bought into male culture. What I do is superficial. And people say you're rationalizing. I'm not rationalizing. I'm saying that this can come off. This can wipe off. Women that are listening to that kind of music and got those attitudes and stuff, you are going to have problems. That's not feminine. That's not ladylike. Ladies, don't listen to rap. I'm going to put the hammer down. I'm going to drive a tent stake in the ground. Ladies, don't listen to foul stuff. Ladies, do not. You marry or date women today, you're married and dating that. Now that's a guy that goes for you women. You can turn this around and apply it to men. You're marrying a beer bottle. You date women who smoke and vape. That's what you're getting. Ashtrays and butts everywhere. This is the honey bunches of oats that judged me yesterday. Disturbed. I wouldn't know what beauty is unless it's, even if it slapped me across the face. Honey! I've dated a lot of women that run circles around you. Women that are doing that are not well adjusted. Women that are doing that are not feminine. Women that are doing that are not ladies. I believe Satan has got more Western women in his hand than any other country in the world. I did a video in Hong Kong got 27,000 views. And that was back then. That was huge. Western women are destroying themselves. They don't choose good fashion. Doing all that to your face does not enhance you. You got a whole subculture of, do you do tats? Do you do gauges? And guys and girls are getting all excited over that. Circling the drain world. Women will go out of their way. Women will go out of their way to act, walk, talk like men, wallpaper themselves, dye their hair, chop it off, pierce themselves, freak themselves out. They'll get on my channel. Who do you think you are judging? You're ugly. Okay, sweet lips. Okay. It's time. You guys want to put on your boxing gloves and punch me with rude comments? I'm ready. I'm going to say it like it is. There's something wrong with you, honey bunch. God didn't make you like that. And I continue to prove by my insistence on being who I am. Americans still, they're like the idiot on the Titanic when a woman was stuck in her stateroom, the door was jammed, and he threw his body weight to let her out. The ship was sinking. And a crew member said, I'm going to report you to the White Star Line for company damage. And I would have turned around and said, go ahead. This whole thing's going to be in the bottom of the ocean in a few hours. These women and people on my channel criticizing me wearing femi clothes or pearl necklace or lipstick, that stuff right there don't come off. You're not just dating a woman today, guys. You're dating a complex. You're dating all of their habits, all of their baggage. And if you try to jangle on that string and say, hey, this has got to go, watch the fight and rebellion you're going to have. You're not dating a lady. That ain't a lady. That's a female. This ain't a lady. And our culture, so obsessed with sports. I bet she doesn't smell good on any level. I bet your armpits smell worse than James LeBron or LeBron James. The fact that Biden let her clown butt out and traded for a terrorist is disgusting. She's dressed like a man, folks. And because I'm being kind, we're not going to mention name, but somebody judged me for this with kiss marks on me. She looks like a guy here. Great body down here. But she looks, talks, listens, and she's one of the boys. And there's this dichotomy in America where people judge me for doing what I'm doing. I'm like, dude, you acting 100% like dude. Your music is dude. Your mannerisms are dude. And I've noticed it's okay for women to do that. It's totally acceptable. Don't let a guy dress like me. Oh, that's woke. You are just as much a part of woke culture when you doing that. I'm sorry. What happened to women listening to Waltz of the Flowers? Or Debussy? Claire de Lune? What happened to that? Now you go into an average woman's house. I've looked at my free cams when I used to have a laptop. Adult stuff, by the way. Women undressing, and they can go into their naughty box for an extra price, but whatever they're doing, you can just watch. All of them are playing music, and I did a video on this years ago. Most women in American culture like crappy, not even music, just awful. I don't know what you call it. Edgy, attitudinal. B N B N. You want to date that? You like that? Yep. Men like women that become male. Women, I'm going to say something that I've learned by observation. Somebody's going to leave a nasty comment about my allergies. You watch. And I'll throw them out of the comments. I have been criticized my entire life by abusive parents, by a sister who was a chronic liar. I have been judged all my life. And God allowed me to go through that so that I could see accurately. Brittany Griner is not a lady. She's not pleasing God. She's not a Christian. That is not the picture of what God wants for a woman. But neither is this. Let's see, did I even keep it? Did I keep it? No, I did not. Bummer. I had a perfect dress barn. I mean, I'm going to show you that real quick, if I can do it. She's pretty. She's beautiful. But what are you going to get? Looks are deceiving every time, folks. I have a friend, and if you hear me, I'm using you. Y'all got to realize I will use illustrations in my life without mentioning names. You've called me many times, said, oh, I just want to get laid so bad. We as Christians have been infected by the toxicity of our culture. We as Christians shouldn't even be saying that. We do. And what has happened is women and men and relationships have become so problematic that we rationalize and justify PORN. Why not? Why not? You date a woman, you're going to get a rash of headaches. You're going to pay a lot of money. You're going to go through all this drama. Why not just look at a picture of a beautiful woman and go, and go on about your day? It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot less headache than getting involved. I'm going to tell you something, men. When you physically have sex with a woman, you become one with her. People say, well, I ain't going to marry. You married her. Every woman you have sex with, you've just consummated a marriage. Nobody likes to look at it that way. And women, they get hurt really bad. You can just walk away from it, but a lot of women, they bond around that. But you got a lot of women that want FWB. Love them and leave them. That's called cheating. That's called you want the easy way out. You want your milk, you want your cake and eat it too, but you don't want to do what God wants you to do. And these women that I showcase, they can climb Everest now. They claim they can do things better than a man. But are you even doing this? And these women think that they, with their attitudes and rap and their baseball stats or basketball stats and dressing, acting like a man and tats and gauges and everything, they have no idea and no clue that when they stand before a holy God, God is not going to look at them and say, wow, you're pretty impressive on the court there, Brittany. Wow, I really like those tats, Brett. I wouldn't even date a woman with the name Brittany. The name Brittany is an immature name. It's a childish name. Brittany is not a well-adjusted woman. She's into women, and she's the man in the relationship. One thing I've learned about gays and lesbians, they can say whatever they want. They can rationalize and legitimize it. Somebody's the man in the relationship, somebody's the woman. Why? Because you're saying you don't need to be married the way God prescribed, one man, one woman. But be careful. You go to church today, people say, find a good Christian woman. Does that even exist anymore? We broken people, folks. We are sexually immoral. All of us. Let's just burn the house down right now. Everybody on my chat, they've fooked around. Everybody. 99% of marriages started with sex before you got married. 99% of those relationships were hot dates with men's hands under the shirt and down the pants. Most of our relationships were not built the way God prescribed ever. And people think because we have a choice as a Christian, we have a choice in America where we can move, who we'll work for, what we want to drive. In fact, we got too many choices. I see women blocking the aisle of a store, spending an hour studying cans of chili. Man, grab the chili and get out of the way. I'm amazed at how many women spend so much time in the store studying the back of a can. I go in, get my stuff, and go. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. You sleeping with your boyfriend? That is against the will of God. And then you wonder why your FWB didn't work out? It will not. It cannot. You just told him he can have his tongue in the honey pot. He doesn't have to buy the honey pot. He doesn't have to marry the honey pot. He can just come over there and go, try out the car. Take it for a test drive. Women are doing it to men. Some men have been deeply hurt. They thought she was in love. She loved him and left him. You don't just date a person. You date all this. You date that and that and that and this and that. Sweet dog breath all over your beautiful lover. You date this. Women have gotten mad at me because I've been very pointed in talking about this pet OCD. I will not, cannot date a woman who's got animals. They're not just pets. They're her babies. They're her children. That is a mental disorder, folks. I will stand behind that to my death, even if it offends my closest fans. That is a mental disorder. They are not your children. Nowhere in the Bible, when it talks about procreation, does it refer to animals as your children. Fur babies. That's so freaking It's sick. And they're nicer to their animals than they'll ever be to you, man. I'm sorry, I'm going to say some things. People are going to get mad. Woman messaged me on Discord. She went and bought a brand new couch. She showed me the picture, dogs laying all over it. Wait a minute. You spent all that money on a brand new sofa and you got dogs all over it. There was a time in my life where the dog could get on my bed and sleep. As I got older, and I woke up one morning and the dog puked all over the blankets. And the blankets smelled like wet dog. I'm like, you know what? Out! I used to be into animals. I like them outside. I'm going to tell you something about smoke and mirrors dating. You can meet somebody like that. She takes you over to her house, and it looks like that. There's a culture out here in the world in which I live. They'll spend upwards of $1,000 on fake hair. These. And they forgot the razor under here. The bathroom looks like this. Their finances look worse than that. They got 4 bad acting kids in tow. They got a big old cream cheese roll between the pants and the top of the shirt with lines and cottage cheese texture to it. And they're walking around with that bottom lip out. You think you're cute. I would never date a guy dressed like a woman. Girl, you're not even pretty. You have nothing to bring to the table. But guess what? We live in circle the drain culture, and there's circle the drain people that will think that that's fun. The guy I work with, most of the women that he likes to play with, I expect a backup beeper to be on a make way, wide load. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I have had people get angry at me for talking about obesity. I've had people get mad at me for talking about marijuana. I've had people jump all over me for how dare I judge women. Women! I've been judged by women all my life and it never stops. Why is it women are the only ones that get a privilege card? You wanted equality, you get it. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. Wrong person. Turnabout is fair play. God has a sense of humor and God will rise up. Somebody will speak out against the crap culture that's all around us. Drop the C, you get the crummy stuff they call music. I don't want to date a woman who's listening N-word, F-word, B-word. I don't want to date that. I don't want to hear that in my house. I don't want to date a woman who's got to tune into CNN and PBS. Get out. I don't want to date a woman whose bathroom looks like this. I don't want to date a woman that the whole living room is taken over by this. Good grief. If I inherited that house, I'd have a roll-off dumpster right up against the front door. I would tear the front door off and I would just start pitching everything. I'd rip all that paneling down. I would gut that place. Carpet, floorboards, everything. Couch in the trash. In fact, I'd get a big metal container and have a huge dumpster fire. I don't care anymore what people think of me. I've been a nice guy. I've tried to be nice. I've tried to be sweet. Women don't like nice guys. They like a jerk. Just the fact we turned a corner that women are drawn to men that look like themselves, and men want women to look, act, talk, and listen to the same stuff men do. Men don't want a lady. They want another dude because they're gay and they don't want to admit it. So if they got a mannish looking dude, they can walk around. All the guys say, yeah, you got a cool girl. She's a dude. She's wearing dude clothes. She looks like a dude with all the sleeves, tattoos, piercings, listen, say. There's no uniqueness, and people come on my channel and have the gall to talk about this. You got to be kidding me. I have had to learn the hard way about love. I don't know what it is, but I know what it isn't. I was obsessed with the Philippine culture. They're not interested in me. I believed for a long time. And I'm man enough to admit Filipinos are interested. If I was in the Philippines, they would be interested in me. If I was to park my butt over there for a year, I could round up a girlfriend within a week, just riding the jeepneys. There's so many women. See, the women in the Philippines are like us men here. We don't have all these choices. Neither do they. The men in Asia have the upper hand. In America and Australia and Canada and the UK, women have the upper hand. They can have 1,000 men trailing them and then go, "You're not worthy of me." Here, I cannot even expect to date a woman who's built like me, but a female, slender, petite. Nope, I'm not worthy enough. But if I go to the Philippines, I would have any number of petite, attractive, long haired, pretty woman without all the goo glop all over her face. And they'd be sweet to me. But you bring that same woman over here, she would leave me and run wild in our culture. Spending money, living for herself. Feminism. Western culture destroys women from other countries once they get over here. Something about our culture is so rebellious and so godless. Let me use an illustration. I would date that woman just on looks. She's good looking. But what is in here? Democrat, loves rap. All she can talk about is LeBron, sports. Women have become men in our culture. When I was a kid, trucks were for men. Trucks were not a status symbol. It was utilitarian. You go back further, jeans were for men, not women. Baseball caps were for men, not women. Sports jerseys and sportswear was for men. That is not a lady, folks. And that is just shoved in our face today, rammed in our face. You really believe reading the Bible that that's God's will for her? That's how far we have all drifted. It's so permeated our culture, we don't think anything about it anymore. I can feel chemistry towards a woman. But the longevity, to my friend who was talking about an FWB that didn't work out, why did you believe it would? You're going to get tired of you. He realized he could have easy, now you're going to go on to something else. When women treat themselves like varieties in a candy store and we now have the choice, you know what? I think I'm going to have some ginger chews. I want some jujubes. I want some Red Hots. I want some M&Ms. And we realize, hey, I got the whole artist palette with all the colors. I'm going to dab this, dab that. Women, you created a problem. You made yourself an open all-you-can-eat buffet, and when I get tired of your BS, I can move on to something else. I'm not married. I'm not legally obligated. Sex, women, we are not wired the same way as you. We are not. We are side-oriented. I met women that are very butch. From here down, they're beautiful. I would love to wrap myself around their body. But in public, out there, would I be proud of that male look, the male mannerisms? I'd be like, ooh, I might as well have just dated a gay guy. I might as well. And people are getting mad at me for saying this, but we have drifted so far from this. I'm going to use an illustration. We're going to move to the kitchen so I can snack and drink my fruit juice. Ouch. Ooh, I stretched and got a stitch. Yikes. Your screen went dark. It is not a technical difficulty. Let's get rid of Griner. She's not exactly what I would call scenic. Men now have to compete against cigarettes, dogs, fur babies, their furry children, the alcohol, the vapes, the tattoos, the gauges, the baggage, the glopped-on makeup, the breast implants, their expensive habit of Starbucks, $8 a day for coffee, their Netflix, their obsession with couch potato behavior. Yeah, you're not just dating a woman, you're dating an entire lifestyle, a culture. And it will make you mad when you come home from work and your bathroom looks like a bomb went off. You're not going to be happy. Man, girl, I can't even shave my face. Get this crap out of the way. I find something interesting, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm not putting anybody down. To my friend, when you had a problem with this and all my lipstick, I got you. I like you. Listen to me. I like you. You got a beautiful body on you. You look good for 50s. But you do carry and come off as a full-blown male. And let me say something. I have been attracted to tomboys. They seem to hang out with me most of my life. But day to day, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. And maybe that's one of those where I'd have to say, prove me wrong. I find it interesting that a lot of women have become comfortable. One sent me from Washington. In fact, I haven't heard from her. And I was getting kind of concerned. She sent me this. I cannot fit into it. It's very petite. I love Asian stuff. And this is what I call a grandma shirt. But I love the silk. When it's colder, I'll throw this over my shoulders. But the reason I started dressing feminine is I noticed women were very comfortable being masculine, and society's allowed it. Don't I look cute? Sheesh, it's almost hysterical. Women have a problem, but then I noticed something. I read in a Brigham Young University study of women 40 on up. Now, that's a Mormon university, but they did a study, and I've read other studies that have confirmed this. Women are more fluid sexually. Pornhub actually does research based on hits. More women look at lesbian porn than ever before. Straight women were interviewed. Well, I wouldn't want to do it with a woman, but they're fingering the banjo while they're looking at it. Even I admit, I don't know why, but we're taking off we're opening the hood and showing the turbos on this. We're not hiding nothing here. Women are fascinated with women. And I find that many women like the fact I put on lipstick and look femmy. Women have told me they would not be ashamed to be seen with me in public on my forum, that they would date me. I think that most women deep down inside have lesbian tendencies and are not honest with themselves. People think because I'm dressing this way, I have gay tendencies. I've dabbled with the gay thing. It doesn't have staying power. A guy with all of the hair and the sweat. I see guys when I used to go downtown cross-dressing, and they're like, you got a bra and you got chest hair? Or a beard? No. So I thought, I'm going to show up and show these people, you want to be feminine, you got to do it right. Problem is, Adam's apple. But yes, I could pull it off. I could cut my hair short and wear a long wig, have makeup and wear a little scarf. And I could wear a little top like this with a skirt. Men like that. There are men right here that would take me to a nice restaurant because I could pull it off and people think I was his woman. I thought it'd be interesting to try that just to see. It'd be fun to have a body cam. I don't want to date a man. I don't want a physical relationship with a man. There are times, because of what I go through, and I read in Encyclopedia Britannica years ago, men on Navy ships, men in prison, men that are sustained away from women. Sexuality tends to get goofy. But I remember years ago, I've talked to women who went to jail and they said, Mike, all these women were coming on to me. All these women. I don't know why. I'm a Christian man, but I'm attracted to two pretty lesbians. Watching them tongue kiss and touch and explore each other is incredible to me. I think, erotically speaking, it's beautiful, but it's against God. And women are weird today in the context that they will judge me. Christians, non-Christians, women covered in tattoos, look like Brittany Griner. And there's something wrong with you. One thing I've noticed in 60 years of my life is most women today, they cannot and will not do this. They will not do this right here. Oh, they'll use this. They will use this. They'll use a full-length mirror. But they'll never look close enough to see the inside of their own soul. Women have an uncanny ability. They tend to project more than men. There was a guy at work yesterday. He said, I'm getting sick of these people. They've done studies, he told me, that men, they think, I forgot the terminology, the way he put it, but men tend to just assume that they can beat up anybody. And I noticed that even on my channel, I don't threaten men to fight. And I can't believe how many tough-talking mofos get on my channel, throw the F word around, and talk like they can take me. The assumption that every man is a tough guy, that every man can take me, is the same assumption that women make when they leave a marriage, that it's always the man's. The men are wrong in their assessment of themselves, the women are wrong in their assessment of themselves. And a woman said it, I think you dress like that because you haven't dated in a long time. It does. It arouses me to wear satin. I love to wear a bra. I love to wear things that are feminine. It's arousing to me. I don't get to go out on Friday night, and I don't get to do that. I could if I settled for 350 pounds and hairy underarms and cottage cheese and queefage. That's gross. I don't want that. I know for a fact that there's people that watch me that are of all different lifestyles. I know for a fact that there's men that look at me and they're probably rubbing one out. I've told people you cannot help feel what you feel. And I will never condemn people for that. The live chat is a fascinating dynamic. And I use situations as part of my content. Fair use act. I will not always put your name out here, but I've noticed certain things, the psychology of chat. I've had to tell somebody, hey, there's all this conversation going on in chat, and somebody's on Planet Michael. I'm trying to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to get a map. You need to put up a map. You need to put up. I'm a grown man. Stop. Stop fluffing my balls. Stop telling me what I need to do. Stop calling everybody for sponsors. Don't get mad that I say this. You came to this channel, and that goes for everybody. I'm going to talk about all of us and our stuff. I get concerned when people are way too complimentary. That's dangerous stuff. Because in the back of my mind, I know that person is going to turn on me and become a freaking problem to the channel, to me. We need to all go on a cruise ship together. No, we don't. I don't want to go on a cruise ship with all of y'all. I do not. I don't want to get close to men. I have a few that I'm close to. They're my inner cabinet that I can go to with my deepest disturbing men's issues. Most men, I keep them out as a satellite. Okay? I don't want a relationship with men. I have a friend, David, in New Hampshire, that I can go to and talk about things. I have Mob Rules in Ohio. I have Tony in Ohio. I have a friend in Montana, Mr. Russell. I have a few that I can go to. And even among them, I don't tell them all everything. There's one or two people I go to for my deepest inner sanctum of problems. We as Christians should not tell everybody everything because people are dangerous. We are dangerous. And I said it years ago, people that are in love with themselves are a danger to society, male or female. They don't care about that red light. They're irritated. You're in their way. You're going the speed limit and they're getting mad at you. That's a danger to everybody. But I also am very honest about my dark side. I have watched, and somebody used the word today saying PORN is bad because it releases dopamine. But that's the problem. That's the problem, okay? When you're in love with a beautiful woman, don't you wish that's what you got, guys? Smiling pretty, smell good, but this is what you get. She's probably into that. She's probably into this. She's probably into dating a guy with a sports jersey and a Nike advertisement. Or you date this one, she's beautiful. And that one right there thinks this is hot. And she invites you into your home. And this is everywhere. And this is everywhere. I'm going to tell a story. She's dead now. Her name was Robin Tate. I liked Robin. She's a black woman, a few years older than me. We were on a trip at the Museum of Nature and Science in our school buses. I met her. She was from the other terminal. We hung out that day. She said, I like you, Michael. I said, I like you too, Robin. What she did not show that day was all that. And I made love to her a few times. I'm not going to lie, I was fascinated with her velvety, smooth black skin. Black women have different skin than white women do. Fact. There's a few black women that have hugged me and brushed up against me, and their skin is deeply arousing. They have features that I love. I'm talking the pretty ones, not the ones that are lazy and let their bodies go like an Amtrak off the cliff. The problem I have with the African American community is a wrong set of thinking and brainwash that's been done through the education and the media and the Democrat left. A relationship of longevity. I dated a black woman in Denver in 2018. That was the last woman I dated. She was gorgeous. Smaller chested. I went over to her house. She had a skimpy top. Those thick nipples were poking through that. I said, my gosh, Pamela. What? I said, you walking around like that. I know you like it. I said, yeah, I do. But when I made love with her, she just lay there. And I joked her. I said, you know, making love is a group participation. Oh, but you make me feel so good. She'd call me. She wouldn't come to work. Her back hurt. I need you to come over and rub me. And one day I said, man, you always want me to rub you. And she started laughing. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I have to do all the work. I take you out. I pay for the dates. I love on you, and you don't do anything. I told her that. We did this for 2 months, and I said, I can't do this anymore. She did not want me to break up with her. I said, it's not going to work. But the other part of that, she's a Democrat. And she, on her own, when I was with her, I am able to be with people that aren't just like me. Where the problem comes in is when women will get on their soapbox about something and won't let it go. And she bashed Trump, bashed the Republicans. I said, Pamela, I am a conservative. And I tried to challenge her to think. She would go on and on about white people. And the problem with Angel Baby, she got on my channel and said I was a racist. And I've heard things on her channel that are vulgar and racist. And she doesn't see it. And Pamela, I really was into her. She exhausted me. She demanded everything from me and gave nothing in return. Nothing. That is not a help me. But let's go back to Robin. So I was feeling it. I went over to her place one night. Robin had a lot of issues. People in her own family were horrible to her. And the first time I made love with her, I'm not going to lie, I loved it. But Robin loved her cigarettes, her alcohol, her lotto tickets. I tried to force myself to move past that. I came upstairs to her bedroom and there was ashtray loaded with butts everywhere, right next to the bed, on the end table. She wanted me to come over one night. I went over there. Ladies, can I say something? She hadn't washed. No, she didn't have STDs. And the fish smell was not cool. I was like, ugh. And that was when I asked myself, you thought she was pretty, but look at all this. She wouldn't manage her finances. She was always out of money. She always wanted to borrow and borrow, and she pawned her necklaces and her rings. She probably paid $9 million for her jewelry every time she pawned it out. She moved here. I rented from her for 3 months, and I did not touch her. When I moved to Georgia, we did not, none of that. She said, Michael, I wanted you to move here, figure we'd go out. And I said, Robin, you and I live 2 different lifestyles. I said, I like you as a person, but that smoking, I can't do it. You drink, you blowing your money, you spend $300 a month in cigarettes, alcohol, and scratch cards. And then you're trying to tell me that I should drink. I won't. I don't want to. You're telling me to play the lottery. I won't. I don't want to. And things that people make the rude comments online don't know. I have crossed racial bridges and dated women that were not just like me. I got tired of dating Christians. That was a joke. Dating some Christian women was worse than dating Robin with all of her addictions. Christian women in America, specifically white ones, are the worst at denial. And they're very good at projecting. Now that they're a Christian, they believe they're without sin. Woo! I married a woman who is like that. 14 years of hell. She threw in an additional 15. I got a BOGO and an extra one. The damage from that woman has severely impaired the relationship I have with my son. Severely. God, some of these women you get involved with is the gift that keeps on giving. And it's cancerous, and it's termites, and it's rust. One thing I learned about ships and boats on the ocean, you need to maintain maintenance. Even on a big ship, barnacles get on the hull. And they're little. They're about that big. Their shell, and they, like a snail, they attach themselves to the hull. And another barnacle, and another barnacle. And pretty soon they get on top of each other. You can have tens of thousands of pounds of barnacles on an ocean liner. Do you know how much weight that is? Do you know how much that drags on the efficiency of the hull going through the water? When you got 3 feet of barnacles on either side deep under the ocean, that ship is no longer streamlined. When you get involved with the wrong man, ladies, and the wrong woman, you've got junk stuck to you. You can't sail smoothly. Your ship is starting to do serious problems when you get weather and you get storms. It's too much for the ship. And I love ship and ocean analogies because they work. I'm not perfect. But if I date a woman who smokes and drinks and lotto tickets and doesn't shave on her hair and leaves the bathroom a mess and blows her money on $1,000 for a hairstyle, but she's not doing basic hygiene, that ain't gonna work for me. If a woman's a Democrat and a liberal and hates what I stand for, that's the problem. Many of us have chemistry. I have chemistry for this. She's pretty. She's lean, nice flat stomach. She's a good-looking black woman. And you date somebody and the relationship turns into this real fast. You're an idiot because you dated her. And I've learned. This is the Latina. I've been around Latina culture. And people are going to call me racist for this. I'm not. Pattern recognition. A lot of Latinas like drama, as evidenced by a recent channel that's still going on it with everybody and me and others. Even people that liked her are seeing her for what she is, and she's dramatizing them. The whole term, save the drama. I have a Mexican sister. She was adopted from a family. My sister loves drama, can't stay out of it. There are things that are true of blacks, there are things that are true of whites, there are things that are true of Asians, and things that are true of Latina. And people get mad when I say it. My cousin was married to a woman from Lima, Peru, and he told me, I told him I had an interest in a woman in Denver who was pulling on me. It's funny, she didn't show it when I was there. She waited till I moved, and then I finally woke up in my head. She liked drama, and my cousin said, do not marry a Latina, Michael. I had a friend in Florida. He married a white woman with Butch Dyke short hair. I'm not being rude. She looked like an ugly lesbian. I never said it. But he would complain about my truck. My truck was a beautiful truck. It started getting rust on the rear fender wells. It wasn't all beat up and tore up. It was a nice truck. The paint was still good. He said, my wife would have never dated me if I drove up in that. She's in the kitchen. And I'm in their house, and I had to listen to the Holy Spirit because I wanted to say, well, I never would have dated your wife. She looks like a dude. I've had a lot of dude women judging me for the way I'm dressed. They have a gross inability to accurately see themselves. And the reason that's happened is because that man put that guy-looking woman on a pedestal. Excuse me, you look like a wannabe boy. And she cycles. Have you ever met cyclist women? They're not pretty. She came in one day after cycling. She took her spandex Lance Armstrong endorsement wear, threw it in the corner when I was in the laundry room. Hi, Mike. Hi, Jane. And the smell that came out of that, oh, baby, oh my gosh. I thought, wow, we get hooked by that. When I lived in Hong Kong, I had many pretty Filipinas that I dated, and one of them told me, Michael, oh my gosh, ay naku, they would say, hi naku. You know, I washed the laundry for the Chinese woman. Michael, their clothes smell so bad. I have to wear gloves, the shirt, the BO, the panties. I said, really? They showed me a picture of her. Pretty, stinky, pretty, stinky. And I, as a guy, am swept up by looks. You ever notice how women just become dominant immediately? They'll get into your truck and they'll pull out the cigarette. Whoa, 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 we don't do that. Mike, for real. For real, we don't smoke. Oh, Mike, I was wrong about you. You notice how women will turn it around and make it look like you're the problem? Well, you didn't tell me you smoked, and you're not smoking in my truck. Boys, you better just step on a landmine in Mogadishu than to get involved with a lot of women in our culture today. You might as well just blow your legs off right away and get it over with, because a relationship's going to just tear you up. Because women are just as guilty as men of doing friends with benefits. They want easy. F them and leave them, and then they get hurt when the guy leaves them. But they're not hurt when they leave the guy. It's like, what the heck is wrong with your thinker? And you can talk all day long about masturbation and ography, but guess what? Me rubbing one out to an idea or a fantasy is a lot less drama, no baggage, no bonding, no argument, no weird stuff. I live with a dichotomy that sucks because I'm a Christian. I'm supposed to be holy. I'm not holy in my mind. And especially now. I've been through a couple of marriages, unfortunately. I have. I left them. What's interesting is I had a friend named Jeff in Minnesota years ago. Very self-righteous, bossy butt. When I was dating a girl, we were in my apartment making love, and he banged on the door. He'd drive 25 miles away, bang on the door. I'm not going to answer the door. I didn't have a vehicle then. I rode the bus or walked everywhere. He would literally bang for 5 minutes. I'm like, this apartment is extremely small. He knows I can hear him when he knocks. I wish I'd have been the man then and said, you know what, Jeff? You don't have the decency to call to see what I'm doing that day. You don't have the decency before driving 25 miles from the sticks to say, hey, you got plans? Or you don't do that. You come in, and for 5 minutes of that, then you run home. I know what you're doing in there, Mike. I know what you're doing in there, Mike. Do you? Is there a camera showing me and Sarah in there? There isn't. I'm going to say something here. There's some Christians that are brain damaged. They're obsessed with wanting, I don't care where I go in this nation. Christian men want to control me. Every church I've gone into. Why? What is this, some sort of BDSM? I mean, why do men want to boss and control me? I've had to tell grown men, hey, I'm the head of my house. I do not need to be part of your accountability group. I don't want to be part of your bull crap. And people wonder why I dress feminine. People wonder why I try things. Our world has gone to hell in a handbasket. I do things to give me sanity to get through the day. And I admit, I'm still trying to be transformed by Christ. Not there yet. But let's talk about this. This has become normalized. This has become normalized. This is normal today. Both of those women would get on my channel and say, oh my gosh, this guy's judging everybody. He's wearing a girl's top. Oh my gosh. Oh, and you're bumping clowns with another woman and she's dressed like a jock from high school. You go, girl. This world is upside down and they're judging me. I'm gonna judge it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be harsh. It needs it. You don't want a man like me who has a house, works at a job, hard work, saves. You want a man-woman. And you're going to criticize me. That girl on the right, there's something wrong with you. Make up your mind. You want a man or a woman? So if you want a woman, shouldn't she dress like me? And it's interesting to notice that women have showed an attraction to me since I started doing this, which proves to me that deep down inside a lot of women, They got lesbian desires, and you're thinking, man, Mike's fully man, but he's feminine. I kind of like that. That's it. That's it. So, guys, they don't want to admit that they're gay, but they'll go date a woman that's dressed like LeBron. Yelling and cursing at a football game like one of the boys. I've watched men in our society, men that smoke and drink. They want to smoke and drink a woman. They get tattoos, they want the woman to have tattoos. They listen to grungy nails on a chalkboard music, they want her to. Men have systematically in our country maleized females. And then they'll come on my channel and say, are you a fag? Look at who you're dating there, homeboy. That ain't no lady, no way. You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. This society's judging me? They don't have the right. I do because I'm a Christian, my eyes are open. I will say this. I guarantee you I smell better than both of those women. And at my age, fast forward them to 60, that's a cartoon, I know. They ain't gonna look cute. There's gonna be all kinds of ugly, foul odors and stinks and whatnot. What about this? If I date her, I gotta marry rap music, I gotta marry BLM thinking, I gotta marry poor George Floyd, I gotta marry the whites are privileged, I gotta marry all this stuff that talks about my race, and the only way it's gonna work is if I totally kowtow to it and worship her and no. You're not dating anymore, folks. You're marrying an entire plane load of bullcrap today. Dating. And dating has become mating in our culture, and Christians have no conviction anymore. You cannot date and fook your woman. You cannot do it. And women are realizing, hey, I could just get it on with him. When I get sick of his sorry ass, I can leave. And they do. I'm almost laughing when I hear women whining about an FWB didn't work out. Unless the Lord builds a house, they that build it labor in vain. That woman is pretty. I have no doubt we'd have sexual chemistry. Do we have emotional? Do we have spiritual? Do we have financial equality? I've been willing to say, I'll marry a woman who's poor, but if she's poor because she's foolish, no. Women that get in debt and can't manage their bills and they automatically see me with dollar signs, no. You want an equality? Clean your freaking mess up. Not my job. And men have been manipulated by women. If you love me, you'd help me with my bills. If you love me, you take care of your personal crap and be a helpmeet to me instead of a liability where I got to plunge all the money into your mess. And let's not even begin to touch on the surface that all of us are broken and we've all had relationships, good or bad, and guess what? Once she gets her gas tank filled, whatever it is, and she gets tired of me, she's gone. That woman knows her sexual worth. She knows she can get any guy she wants. If she's choosing you, you better be smart enough to go, why is she into me and how long is she going to be into me? Women and our society has not taught the importance and sanctity of marriage. The church has not helped marriage at all. Pastors push for young couples to get in love, get married, have kids, get the dog, get the house. Then all your kids can go to Awanas. I look at older couples in the church and all I see are Oompa Loompas. They're unhappy with each other. They're both grossly overweight. I wouldn't want to see either one of them naked ever. Now, I'm different than most people. I've been blessed with a metabolism. I've been blessed with a slender body. You think I'm going to get together with a 75-year-old man or a 65-year-old man who's this big and doesn't value me? What do we have in common? And I love my pastor. My pastor says iron sharpens iron. Pastor, this isn't iron in here. This is lead. It's poison. You don't rub your fingernails against lead and get it under your nails. There are some Christians that are to be avoided. There are some churches you need to leave. And I love my pastor and I love his wife, but I'm realizing more and more, there is nothing in this church for me. The teenagers that are in that church are growing up under these obese women. Look at mom. Look at the teenager just graduated and turned adult. Look at mom. Fast forward her 20 years, she don't look just like that. And she's already wearing dress barn clothes and she's already got that little stupid attitude. Who wants that? And men have emasculated themselves that they'll go after that. And it feeds into that whole arrogant thing that we're dealing with. Women are nasty to me on the internet. I'm not talking about my regulars. When this kind of a woman is coming on my channel and saying nasty comments, she deserves a mouthful of feedback. You wouldn't know what beauty was even if it slapped you. Honey! The women that I sinned with were better looking than you. Smelled better, and they didn't have one tat and piercing. You look like you just came out of the devil's house with a seance. Nothing proves you are of your father, the devil, than that right there. You destroy the body God gave you. You graffitied it like a railroad car on the shitty side of the city. I hate that. There are black guys that told me, I think graffiti's cool. I said, I don't. It looks like crap. And since Miss Manners here, that looks like S-H-I-T. I will not apologize for that. That is gross. You want to talk about me wearing an article of clothing and lipstick? I can look more lady than you. That is messed up. I'm going to continue dressing this way, and if it makes people hate me and run, go. My channel is growing by itself because people are hungry for truth. We got too many preachers on Sunday morning that wear a suit and tie and talk with a voice of authority, and they're making millions of dollars without a shred of conviction that, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. We got transgender taking over Disneyland, Disney World, and pretty soon they'll have a gay cruise ship out there. I mean, I'm waiting for that. I've already heard some of these cruises, somebody will leave their cabin door open. If there's an upside down pineapple in there, you can just walk on in, take your pants down, and join whatever's going on. Nobody even is, people aren't even worried about STDs. They said, what, 43,000 people got herpes over spring break? I think that's funny. AIDS is going through Africa like a fire. Men are inflamed with lust for men. Women are inflamed with lust for women. And a guy like me can't get a date, and most of those women will say it's because there's something wrong with me, but never them. Is that even mathematically and logistically a reality? That women are so much... This woman, she thinks she's entitled. She thinks she is the definition And what has happened is that woman has made herself a goddess. Yeah, Medusa, Jezebel. A woman got on my channel and got upset that I called leading Democrat women Jezebels. I will not apologize for that. They are. They want to overthrow biblical values, overthrow biblical marriage. They're not ladies. AOC is a nut job. As we used to say in the 70s, wing nut. I wouldn't want to lift up the underarm of Ilhan Omar and take a whiff of that. Gross. And she's pushing Muslim feminism combined. There's an unholy matrimony all the way around. Yeah, I'm tired of this stuff being forced on me and then saying, you're racist. You need to shut the front door. You know why people are getting mad at me? Because I'm one of the few rare white men that have stood up and called it out. And some of these ethnicities are getting pissed at me. If what you believe is so true, why are you getting so mad at me? Because it ain't. They haven't been successful. The media's been a bully. The school system, Hollywood's been a bully. And then there's that weird guy dressing like a woman who's not shutting his mouth. She thinks that's cute. Nose ring, gross. Not into it. I know. I have friends on here that got them. I love you. I'm not hating on you, but that's gross. It's attached to where all the snot comes out. That's nasty. Mutilation and desecration of your body is a sign of satanic activity, folks. Newsflash. I live in a world of disgusting contrasts. Sunday morning is dress barn culture. Monday through Friday, is male-dominated warehouse culture. And a guy said yesterday, he said, it amazes me how many people think they're tough on the internet. And he said, I'm getting tired of these people making rude, threatening comments to me. He said, I told one guy, you don't even joke about that. He said, everything you do on this internet can be found out even if you have a VPN. Andrew Drescher, foreskin, you are a clown. You are a dumb, dumb, dumb dude. You can't get a date with a girl or a guy. And you are horrible. You stalked me for 11 years. You are a disgusting evidence of circle the drain culture. You fought in the military, or you didn't fight, you were in the military. And you spent 11 years attacking a flag-waving American. I do not get behind the support our troops movement. You got woke people in there. I don't support that. A lot of people get in the military because they can't figure it out. They want free college, whatever. And they're Adolf Hitlers in disguise. They believe they have the freedom of speech, but they want to take it away from me. Andrew Drescher. A legend in his own mind who thinks he's Legatus Lanius in some Roman pathological cartoon video game clown. And I had to get guts. He successfully caused me to take channels down out of fear. God grew in me. Michael, the only one you're supposed to fear is God, not a foreskin on the internet. And people say, that's not very nice. It is the truth. And nice Christianity has not worked out in this country. Has not. Dress barn culture Christians ain't working. The church I'm going to is not growing. A woman tailgates me every time I leave. Goes the same way I'm going, even all the way by my house. She'll never come up and say, hi, Michael, how are you today? When I had my deuce and half, I couldn't even see her in my mirrors anymore. I'm thinking, this is a dumb woman. If I lock on the brakes on this, she's going to be all the way into my differential. If Christ is in us, why is basic human kindness not even there? I don't care what Christians or non-Christians or atheists or this creature thinks. That's a creature. That is a creature. I will not take it sitting down rude comments from that. Enough. You're not cute. You're demonic. And I know what beauty is, and that, my friend, is not it. That's hideous. Not all things are as they appear, folks. I, as a grown man, as a father, had to see and endure stuff at the hands of my ex, allowing a 21-year-old pedo to move into her townhome, to live in there, and repeatedly use my son for his butt Olympics. And comes to the door one day and I can smell the BO on him. And he wants to talk tough to me. Any other man I know would have put a fist through that clown's face and dropped him. I told him, I said, if I could legally tear you up on this front porch, I would. I'm here to see my son. Shut your mouth and get out of my way. I called the police. Yeah, I need you at this address. I'm being interfered with trying to see my son. That piece of crap called my ex. She left work. The police pulled up and she went up, I don't want him there. I said, I was never forbidden, I was encouraged, and I'm trying to see my son and this guy. My ex-wife, being the godly Christian woman she is, listens to focus on the family. Listen to me. Listens to focus on the family, would put little messages all over my windshield, on my truck every day. I get up in the morning and see another note. I got so tired of this. I had enough notes in 7 years to fill a dumpster. Most American women cannot self-assess. That one can't. You judging women. Yeah, honey, I am just like you judge all of us, and you don't like it. Wah. You don't like it. You don't like it when somebody finally in this stupid society, being a man is not getting gauges and listening to that's not a man. That's a deranged, disturbed soul. This rap music is of the devil. Women listening to it and women coming onto my channel. I'm sorry, I've got to say this. Judging me for the them. You acted like a dude. How is that okay? And then justified it. Well, if I was with the right man. Oh, that's why you act like a dude. Okay. See, I'm going to say the truth, and I thank God that I got a lot of people on my channel not fair with their friends. I got people right here, they'll hear some things. Oh, I'm done with him. Bye. Bye-bye. Would you like me to pack your bag? Would you like me to give you your passport and your flight ticket? I'll give it to you. People don't want a real man in this culture. They want Play-Doh. Form it into what they want. She wants somebody she can control. Men want somebody they can control. People don't take the time to get to know me. I don't want to control a woman. That's too much work. I go to work in a warehouse. I don't want to work on a relationship. That is stupid. I'm so tired of the church telling relationships work. Well, then I quit my job. The Bible says, I will bring a helpmeet suitable. If you married a woman that's worm, you didn't find a helpmeet, you found a hindrance. Divorce her and get out. And end the saga and the ongoing bull crap. God hates divorce. God also hates it when you... I can't even imagine dating that and finding anything ladylike or sweet coming out of that. That is a woman who's programmed by Satan. She actually thinks that that's pretty. You damn right I'm going to judge. There is nowhere in the Bible that says I cannot judge that. Nowhere. Show me the scripture. Everybody knows Matthew 7:1. Judge not lest you be judged. She judged me. Let's talk about her. She doesn't even know God. She knows the prince of darkness. You darn right I'm going to judge him and his followers. And this is what's going on in America. Do you know, the Bible talks about in Revelation, people would seek death but find it not. That when they take the mark, God's going to inflict them with sores and something that's awful for 5 months. They would seek death and find it not. Bible commentators said they'll try to commit suicide, but they won't die. God's the author of life. Did you know that? And all these women killing their babies? There's an army of babies that's in the kingdom of heaven that will be testimony against all these liberal feminist women that were selfish. Their mothers won't be there. When you kill that child in the womb, you just sent that kid to heaven. When Satan convinced you to kill yourself, you're going to the lake of fire. I tell you what, people say, why do you look so sad? How can I be happy living in a world like this? I'm surrounded by incompetence, hate, demonic activity. Nobody wants to use that word in 2026. Satan runs through people and uses them. That woman is a puppet of Lucifer. I would say it to her face. If you're not saved, you need to get saved. You need to be born again. You need to trust Christ as Lord and Savior. I have not claimed perfection. No one is. People think I don't have a right to talk about these things. I do. The church is an extreme. Society is extreme. Liberalism is extreme. We live in a culture of paradoxes and contradictions all day, every day. We got a guy with a beard. He looks like an outlaw, and he tried to sell me a gun. I'm not going to buy a gun from you. You don't even work hard. You come in here. He shows up. He only works 2 hours a day down here now. It's after 3, and he's taking a smoking break. The UPS truck's up, and he refers to the black driver. Hey, BITCH. I wish that black guy come out and wring his neck, but they're buddies, and they talk like that to each other. He's not a handsome guy. He'll roll up his sleeves with all his tattoos and his soft arms that are nothing but skin. He's standing out there smoking and talks with a deep voice like he's some tough guy. Man, you're not even sweating, bro. You're not even doing hard work, and you want to play that game. If he ever said anything to me, I'd say, dude, what are you doing here? I'm older than you, and I'm sweating, and all I see you do is bullshitting every day. What do you do here? And the supervisor, hey, bro, what's going on? Supervisor likes him. Men are guilty too. I went to him a while ago. I said, you know, he is not working very hard. Mike, he only gets paid this much an hour. I said, that's too much. That's too much. A black guy and I are about ready to go to HR and say, look, this is pissing us off. There's a busted folding metal chair that leans all the way over. He's sitting down in an aisle doing stuff. I get there early. Nobody's there. I took that folding chair. I went and stuck it behind some products. I'll be damned if this guy gonna sit down. He came over to our department. There was a rolling, comfortable chair. He took that over there. When I go in there this morning, I'm gonna take the forklift and put it all the way at the top of a rack. And I told the guy I'm gonna do that before I clock in. He said, you know what? I'll get here early and we'll put all those chairs away. I said, right on. And God said, don't do it. Let me deal with this. These are the kind of guys that judge me. They'll judge me for wearing this. And that little mouth of a girl running her mouth. You couldn't do what I do, honey. You got a mouth. The devil roars like a roaring lion. When deep down inside, he's just a little chihuahua, and you take your foot and go, that's what we got to do. Satan intimidates everybody because he roars. Women that look like that, oh, they're scary. All an edifice. Could she get saved and love Jesus? She could, but I doubt it. People are identifying themselves with the devil, and they're not ashamed. We Christians, are we identifying with Jesus? I will continue to dress like this because it really causes consternation. It causes immature, silly people, the Dooner Kung effect, whatever it's called, thinking that they're so smart, thinking they're so full of wisdom, even quoting the Bible at me, and missing the point. Missing it. You feel so bold to witness to me, go witness to that. Go tell her you do not cut up and mark and tattoo the body. Why don't you read the verse to her and all your boys getting tattoos? The Bible talks about that. It's funny how even Christians ignore all the verses in the Old Testament under the law, but they'll single-handedly narrow it down to this. Oh, you're dressing as a woman. God says that's an abomination. Oh, you ignored all the other Old Testament laws too. I'm a 60-year-old man and you're running your mouth at me. Read what the Bible in the New Testament says about never speak to an elder man harshly. Oh, you ignored that, huh? I know Bible. I know enough Bible to convict everybody that come up against me and myself. And I get tired of cherry picking people. You pull out this verse when it's convenient. That's not a lady. That's not a woman of God. That's a female. That's a disturbed soul. That's a troubled soul. And she didn't like something I said on a video because instead of her saying, you know, God, I don't like this guy, but he's speaking the truth. I need you, God. That's the point of my videos, to stir thought, to get people to take a look at themselves. Don't worry about what I'm dressed. I'm cuter than you, honey. I smell better than you. I guarantee you, if I lifted up your arm, it wouldn't smell pretty. When I look at all that, I think you probably smell, got foot odor and Y odor and everything else. You know what? I don't care. I don't care what people like you think of me. You have marked yourself up. People are talking about, oh, is this the mark of the beast? That's the mark of the beast right there. God gave you a body and hair color, and Western women change the color of it. Chop it off. Cover up their skin with that. You're going to sit here and tell me that that's God's will? But you scream and yell about me wearing a woman's top. Oh my gosh. Wow. The dichotomy of that is unbelievable. I don't care if nobody dates me because I'm dressed like this. I don't care when I didn't dress this way. There's the lion's share of pretty women. That's not beauty, by the way. Hey, honey bunches of oats. I dated Filipino, Chinese, Korean, African American, Latina. All of them were prettier than you. Smell good, look good. You? No. Try again. This is under the Fair Use Act, by the way. But I'm going to go a step further. You think that's any better than her? You think that's going to be any better than the Miss Tattoo? What about this? You think she's going to be sweeter and nicer? Can I go a step further? The fact that she's publicly out there like that? How many men have looked at that picture and played with their monkey? You want your woman to be known as the poster child out there that every man lusted after? Is that what you want? She's getting all that attention online. How long is she going to stay with you before she gets tired of it and goes somewhere else? That's what women have become today. Not all, but most. What about this one? Is she going to stay with me? Is she going to put her arms around me? Honey, I missed you. I cooked dinner for you. I'm so glad you're here. That doesn't even exist today in our culture by and large. You think I could come home to that and she's going to love me? No. I'm not worthy of her. These women have made themselves a female deity. We have to come with an offering, trembling, scraped knees, begging. Men, you do that, you are a simp country. This one, women that wear the dress barn clothing, they're the same way. They think they're cute. They think I'm not worthy. And you got those in the church, they think they're more godly than everybody else. They don't say hi to anybody. They don't greet anybody. Their corruption is at all levels. So this is becoming normalized. This is the norm now. And women, you got what you wanted. You wanted equality, you got it. But then you still expect us to pay for the day. You still expect us to pay your bills. You expect us to fix the problems in your life. And you know what I've learned? It makes sense for two pretty women to fall in love with each other because they're both so narcissistic, they can just fall in love with themselves. There's two sisters, they're adults. They're both beautiful, and they both do lesbian. They're really in love with each other. Sisters, white women. They both are identical twins, and they both do dancing, and they're beautiful. I'm like, I cannot see these two with a man. And no one in female society in America wants to realize you have contributed to the carnage of us. I'm going to say it. I love erotic photography, black and white and color. And even though it's sin, and even though it's wrong, see two women in bras, tongue kissing, caressing, it's like, wow, the Bible calls it unnatural, but it looks natural to me. I mean, The way women are with each other, they're not like that to us. I had to go to Hong Kong to have a woman ravish me. It doesn't happen here. Even the most beautiful white girl I dated named Sarah, I was taken by her. She laid there in bed. Didn't do anything. And you see some of these videos, the real ones, these women are passionate for each other. They're not passionate for us. Women have a survival instinct. They're looking for a life preserver, somebody to pay for them, give them what they want, and not looking. Men are looking for this. Women are looking for something to use. Not all, but most in our culture. And women have discovered, BYU did studies, women once they hit 40 suddenly have a strong desire to experience another woman. Why? They've shredded men. They were too good for us. They do their hair and makeup to please other women, not men. I read years ago, this is a fact, Cosmopolitan magazine. It was all over my bathroom floor. My sister, who I could not stand, would use my dad and I's bathroom instead of the girls' bathroom, and she had Vanity Fair and then Cosmo all over. And Cosmo, I mean, that was soft PORN. Beautiful white women like this and nice chest. And I'd read some of the articles sitting on the toilet. Articles like how to have sex on a loading dock. Oh, wow. Encouraging people to be naughty at work. I've had black men tell me here in Augusta when they worked at Amazon that guys and girls would go in a part of the warehouse where there was nobody and take off all their clothes and do it back there. On the clock. I kind of like that. On the clock sex. I want that job. Paid to make love. Okay, I'm in. That's a job with benefits. I wouldn't even think of doing that. I mean, I'm in enough warehouses with no cameras. If a woman was there and she went, Mike, all right, you want to show me your tots? Cool. But I'm not going to take off my clothes and do her. I'm going to say, you know what? When we get off work, I'm going to go home and shower and we're going to play. But guess what? Those women aren't coming to work in my workplace. The pretty women don't do those jobs. They ain't going to be there. And if they are, it's a pack of problems. They're a temptress, they're a problem, they're a distraction. This is what we want. Guys, this is what you get. Either coming into a relationship with baggage or you're leaving one with baggage. It's an airport. Flight drama departing gate 1. Flight drama departing gate 1. Please board immediately. Hurry up! Yes, ma'am. And out of the sexes, I have seen more women blame men for the failures in a relationship than I have seen men blame women. So when I get on here and say this, you ought to hear the feedback from females. Women, white women have come on here and said, oh, he's just mad because he can't get a date. Really? I can get a date. Then I'm going to say a contradictory, not with what I want, because when I see what I want and they open their mouth, I go, I don't want. Packaging. Packaging. All we have in America is packaging. The games that people play on chat, the games people play in real life, we are a ghost town. The family's disintegrating. The kids in America are getting worse and entitled. They're being babysat by iPhones. How long, oh Lord, before you pull the plug on this and pull the church out? I don't see things getting any better. And then you got this MAGA cult, and it is a cult. I'm going to call it that. We've had Trump for the second time now. You really think things are getting better? The liberals are just sitting back there, termites in the schools, termites in Hollywood, termites in crime. They're letting this stuff, Trump hasn't fixed any of this. He's not our savior. Did you hear me? He's not our savior. When I speak on my channel, people get offended when they hear something they think I hate. Women, stop playing emotional retard games with me. I'm not hating, I'm just telling you what it is. Allow yourself to be convicted if guilty. And that's the problem. You women act like little knights. Every time somebody says the truth, you got your shield up. Nope. I'm not going to listen to this negativity. Nope, I'm a woman. Nope. That's the problem. That's the problem. You think you're too good for us. I knew a woman named Laura. She went to Redeemer Temple down there in Colorado. She came on to me. Never been married, a Hispanic, same age as me. I bet you, I'm 60, she's 60. If I went back there, I bet she's not as cute as she was. She met me and she said, she came to me. All these men in church are perverts. I said, why do you say that? Because they all hit on me. I said, you're single and you're pretty. What's the problem? Did you see white women that go to the gym and they do setup? They come into the gym with this on. Oh my gosh, the guys are looking at me. Look, he's looking at me. He's raping me with his eyes. I tell you what, grown men should stay out of the gym. It's nothing but a cat house and a bunch of garbage. The gym's a good place if you're gay or you want to show off. That's it. Or lesbian. These women want to sit there with the little electronic devices on their arms and look stupid on a little walking thing, and they're playing their shitty music, and the guys are going, wow, she's hot, in a sweaty sports bra. Ooh la la! She can't cook you a decent meal. She ain't going to give you a back rub. What are you going to get? A headache. All these women will work on their body, but they won't work on this. And then you got those that say God looks at the heart, they let their body go to hell. I've noticed something. The world makes himself look beautiful, but the inside's rotten. Like the Pharisees. They scrub it up, dub this, but inside's full of yesterday's dried soup. And Christian women, they focus on the emotional hallmark things in the heart, and they let their body go, oompa, loompa, oompa-dee-doo. Don't judge me, 'cause God loves me. Wait a minute, honey. God doesn't have sexual desires. Don't put that on me. They tell me, well, God looks at the heart. He does. God is not sexually moved. He created the sex drive. He put it in us. You cannot fault a man when he says, you're 350 pounds, I'm not attracted to that. And the women, instead of taking a long, genuine look in that full-length mirror, the movie projector comes out. Mike's got issues. He's got anger management. He hates women. Coming up next, we'll show you how Michael Nelson is highly dysfunctional, talking about everybody online. funny, when you tell the truth, you're the enemy. Charlie Kirk told the truth, and if I heard a little boy that wanted to date a little boy, and two little boys, one wanted to pretend that little boy was a girl, and Tyler wanted to pretend that he was dating a girl who was really a boy because he liked sausage and not taco. He got mad and shot the guy. We should be concerned about that, because you know why? Not only is freedom of speech under attack, but we got a young generation of little mouth-offs that look like a little sissy. Tyler looked like a wussy. He doesn't even look like somebody who did the chores I did as a kid. He just looks like a powder puff boy with a Where's Waldo shirt on, getting up in full sniper regalia and picks off a grown man in front of his wife, in front of the nation. And that piece of crap is sitting in jail getting better food than you can afford at the store. Somebody needs to take his butt out of that jail and go, "Pah!" and end it. But they don't. I got a call from a young Puerto Rican lady last night from transportation here. They still haven't fired the black woman. They called her a burrito and threatened her in front of a room full of people at work. She also told me she had her phone on record when she went into an office to talk with somebody. One of the white men who's in transportation leadership is married to a black woman, removed the Puerto Rican from a position she had had with no complaints. The black woman was put on to assist her. The black woman wanted to take over and dominate. And the white guy said, "Why don't you just let it take it over so that there's no confusion?" And she said, "I've been running this." I said, "You can take over all this part. I handle the west side because I drive the west side, and that's what my lead driver wants me to do." No, the black woman wants the whole piece of pie. And this is what's happening in America today. You got people groups that don't like us. You know, they call us whites. They call us whites. That's just ignorant. This is not white. And you got everybody's clamoring for control. The tattoo freaks, the skateboard freaks, I ran into a tackle box freaks. You see those clowns in Portland and Seattle. Two of the worst cities you can move to in America for white grunge, disenfranchised malcontents. Every time they get up about some women with their BO and their unshaved underarms and moldy green hair and their tackle box face. Gross. And you call that a lady? And you date most women today? And guess what? You're going to come home one day. Why? There's some good women on my channel. I think. I don't live with them. They don't live with me. But I'm man enough to admit, these women that we talk and flirt with online and we talk on the chat, whenever you live with anybody, even me, familiarity breeds contempt. When you're on top of each other in a small little box called a house, or you're in a long car trip, sometimes you look over at her and go, "I married the devil." And she looks at you and said, "Yep. Whatever, Lucifer." But when we pursue the stuff I just showed you, we just add problem to problem. If you're a Christian man and you think that this is going to be a good woman for you, I can tell just by the whole ensemble there. No. But go to church. Why are they dressing dress barn? I see no difference between the teenage girls in our church and the adults. Zero. Attitudes. Attitudes. You know, the Bible talks about let this attitude be in you also. And it wasn't the attitude you see on the faces of women. Women fail to realize, they think they're so smart. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger effect. Women are guilty of that. Trolls are guilty of that. Democrats project, well, we went to college. Oh, big freaking deal. You got brainwashed. I know more than most Democrats. I didn't go to any college. College doesn't mean a thing. If you don't know God, you're an idiot. We as men are simps. We created that problem right there. Look at her. I want you to look at that. Get a grip on that. Got to show my skin. Hair blocking one eye. I don't know about you, but I don't like something over my eye. My ex-wife, when I'm driving, she put her finger right in front of my field of vision. I said, will you stop pointing in front of my face? Oh my gosh, you get so mad. I'm driving, dummy. I didn't say that. I wanted to. I remember in the 80s when the chicks, the stuck-up girls, they had the big curl, poking their eyebrows and their eyes. Remember that? The big hair? And all day with the attitude. And guys sit there, oh, she's so hot. Yeah, it's really cool watching a girl do this. It's really cool seeing a girl who lets the hair grow in her own eyes and poke them out. Yeah, she's cool. She's cute. She's hot. That's how stupid we are. We are DUI. We see this. When I see that woman, I'm not looking at everything. I'm looking at right there, headlight zone. When I'm looking at this, where is it? What is going to catch my eye faster than anything? The smile? No, that little bit of side boob. That's a nice looking girl to me. Nice looking woman. My mind is not thinking, oh, she's an intellectual. She would surely like to sit down and talk deep into the night on deeper issues. No. When I look at her, she's going to use that body to get what she wants. Fact. And it ain't an intellectual guy. It's money. It's whatever she wants. This one, she looks like she wants to go to a deep prayer meeting and Bible study with me, right? Right? But hold on. Let's be fair. Do I want a religious prude to date that has no sexual persona? No, I don't. Do I want a geek for Jesus that, Mike, I just want to talk about deeper theology? How about if we go make love? Nah, I'm not really into that, Mike. I've been around women. There was a woman I met. She was beautiful. She came on to me. I was working at a house, working for a guy named Daryl out in Colorado, and we were doing some backyard landscaping. I said, who's that lady? He said, she comes over and cleans a woman's house. I said, she's beautiful. I'll go tell her you're interested. He walked right in the house. She came up and talked to me. Hi, tall lady, pretty. She said, I'm married to Jesus. Really? Yep, married to Jesus. She's not interested in man. She's married to the Lord. I met one out here like that. Those are nut jobs. And it doesn't matter where I go, face to face, most of the women I meet are a mess. Whether it's that or the Dudley Do-Right for Jesus, you're not getting a helpmate. Women don't want or need us anymore unless they want something that we have. You go back to the 1900s, women were looking for our attention. They didn't want to be out in a society that was male-dominated alone. Not at all. Now they can buy their own car, buy their own house. More and more women are having sexual relationships with a dog than ever before in America and in Europe. That's fact. There was a woman in Alabama doing porn videos with her dog. And guess what race it is that's doing that? You guessed it, Caucasians. Caucasians have the lowest birth rate of anybody in the world now. Our race is dwindling. It's disappearing. Now you got white women here in Augusta. They won't speak or say hi to me. They're not friendly because they want it to be known, oh, I'm done with my culture. I'm dating a black man. And then they go get the dreadlocks. They play the same shitty music he's listening to. And it's like, yep, how long is that going to last? They're getting back. They're making a shock statement. I am not against biracial dating, but I see a lot of people do it out of shock and attention getting. I can't tell you how many women at the flea market were sweet to me, hugged me. I go through there now. Last week, one just totally ignored me. And another one did. And the other one wasn't pretty. She's older. She's a black woman. She's Rastafarian. She got all this spiritual crap and soaps. She's interesting, but she believes a lot of demonic stuff. When I talk to her, she's depressed. She's got that edge to her voice. And in spite of my faults, when you're around somebody of darkness, in time they will not be comfortable with you because the devil in them knows the Jesus in you, and the two cannot live in harmony. That's why the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. But you can be unequally yoked with an immature, childish believer woman that doesn't admit the facts about herself. There's a woman on my regulars that we call Tams. She's a lady. She deeply loves the Lord. And she's never condemned me for any of my sultry confessions. I'm sorry, ladies. You don't meet a lot of ladies. You meet a lot of women today, but you don't meet a lot of ladies. You got a lot of ladies who are going to tell me, oh, I'll let you know if you get me mad. Oh, here we go. You're going to get up in my face. You do that in my house, go. Walk out that door. Don't come here. Don't come here. I don't want to date, mate, or be involved with a combative power trip woman. And women say, you want to be a power. No, I don't. No, I don't. I want a woman when I come home, we're at peace. There's no friction. I want to just love on her, which is what a woman supposedly used to want. I want her to wear a top like that, be washing the dishes, and I come up behind her and go, I missed you. She puts her arms up, take me, I'm yours. Okay, let's go. But I don't get that today. Sexuality is the carrot on the end of the stick. Awful lot of crap we have to sacrifice just to get that. But living together, shacking up, God doesn't honor it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've known couples that live together 20 years, but we don't need to be legally married. That's just a piece of paper. Oh, but you live in sin together, and that's okay. I got a woman on my channel. I love her because she's living with her boyfriend. And she justifies it. We all justify our sins. Every one of us, even Christians. It doesn't fly with God. And it will blow up in time. It will blow up in time. Give it time. If the Lord didn't build it, you built it in the flesh, you built it on Satan, it's going to blow up. Give it time. Give it time. That woman's pretty. And I'm going to be very honest with what I say. When I look at that, I'm only thinking of one thing. Ooh, I'd love to get some good release with her right now. That's it. Nothing else. We men are so moved by what we're attracted to. Men will say, I love you so fast to that. But what you're getting is this. Honey, we're not sleeping with the dog in bed. That's my child, and you need to accept it. No, I don't. Well, then I'm leaving you. Well, please do. What you're getting is women want us to change. They won't change. Women want us to change. They will not change. Always remember that. That's a fact. That there, she got a list of requirements on us, not one on herself. She thinks she can come to the table like that and think we're all supposed to just accept that. And if any one of us criticize her, she will become the Jezebel and say, I want your head on a platter. Stop believing women are sugar and spice and everything nice. That is a lie from the devil. They're just as sinful as us men. And most of them end up being that right there. Most of them. Can't tell them that. Can't tell them that. This is Hollywood, folks. We romanticize that. We romanticize that woman on the left of me. She's pretty, but in real life, she sowed her oats. She did whatever she wanted. I'd love to date her. Do you think she wants to sit down and have a Bible study with me and pray? Just some questions. Most relationships are like that. Foxes are sneaky, they're crafty, and they're smart. They've got dog and cat-like characteristics. One keeps going into one of the warehouses and shitting all down the aisles, and I'm getting sick of it. And one of the guys is feeding the thing with biscuits out of his hand. Men, there's a lot of women you need to stop feeding and stop giving attention to and stop praising. When men are praising me, I start to wonder if they're gay. Number one, I'm not interested. Number two, I'm not gay. I like when people try to say you're bisexual. I have never had sex with a man, so that's a lie. Have I had some bi-curiosity? Yeah, but it's gone. We men are wired when we're not getting our needs met. Just like women, we can feel a certain amount of hardiness that's a temporal, but I'm not into men. I don't want to be close to guys. I will not even allow a male to move into my house. There would be problems because they'll try to buck me, control me, and I'll say, go, get out. And then they'll try to hit me. I don't trust 99% of the men in this country. They're a danger. They're like a lot of women. They're not going to give up their bad habits. They'll bring their smoking, bring their dope, bring their bull crap into this house. You date some of these women, they'll bring their brothers in here. They'll disregard the rules of my own house. I pray to God I can live alone till he comes again because I don't want to be stuck with somebody who's going to make my life a living hell. And if he's going to do that, then take me out by a bolt of lightning, God. I mean that with all my heart. I love my freedom. And if you're looking for a mate, you better make sure you get a helpmeet and not a hindrance. Because there's a lot of hindrances out there in today's society. This is just external. That's it. And people get all tripped over that. You got women getting online. I thought that shirt was cute. They have no scruples. You got a Christian woman, bra and panties, getting online, only fans, making money, being provocative and promiscuous. I'm saving myself for the right man for Jesus. Wow, that's an amazing dissection, dichotomy lifestyle. I can be an SLUT on the internet. I'm a Christian woman. And I'm not going to have sex with anybody, but I'm going to tempt and be a stumbling block to every man out there that views me. Do you know how angry that makes me? I got to work hard for my money. Can I be honest? I wish I could do this for a living. I wish. I wish somebody, Mike, girls would say, oh, take it off. I'll send you $1,000. That'd be easy. I could be a male SLUT all day and make money and not have to sweat and struggle in a hot warehouse. You know, God's going to judge these women, and these women don't realize they're going to face more judgment than I will because they're so in denial. They have no idea what's coming. Planet G cracks me up. Planet G, Tans, Avita, Denola. How many women on my channel are linked by one thing? We know God. None of us is perfect, but that's what makes this community. It doesn't make the community because I'm good looking or hot stuff. What makes this community is God has brought a remnant of us together because we're tired of what's going on in the world. We're tired of what we see, and people gravitate towards the truth. Not all, but many, a remnant. Remember, Elijah ran for his life after Jezebel threatened him when he had the highest apex experience a human could have. Devil worshiping, Baal worshipers, cutting themselves. They built an altar, they put a sacrifice, and they're begging and pleading their God, and nothing happens. And they're in a drought. You don't waste water in a drought in the desert. Dump the water on the altar. They filled up big containers. We're not talking sippy cups. Dump it again. The waterfall off the altar filled the trench. It was sopping wet up there. And Elijah says, Almighty God, and he prays prayer to the Holy One. And I'm telling you, I would have loved to have seen that. I believe it went. Burnt the stones, consumed the water of the sacrifice, burned the altar. God don't play. And some woman's on her channel saying, I pray the angels protect me. What, Satan's? You're a rabble-rouser, drama queen, stirred up hate, and you think you have the fruit of the Spirit? You think God's got your back? Your old friends are coming to my channel because they're tired of it. Huh, that's ironic. And I'd love to see her have a turnaround. I'd love to see her get right with God and become a nice lady. That ain't going to happen. I don't date a man who wears one. I don't date a bitch who's a drama queen and lies about men. Boom, chakalaka. I don't really care what your little faulty, flawed opinion of projectilism. You are in denial, and it ain't the river in Egypt, baby cakes. I'm thankful for the women who accept me and are kind to me and encourage me. I'm human. We all want validation. Who doesn't? Look at this. Jillian put that together on AI. I'm not an AI supporter, but she did it. So I show it. That's our faces. But look, that's showing her, me being a gentleman dressed up, her being a lady. As much as I don't dress up, I will say that picture evokes something. Instead, this is what we got for today's ladies. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage. You wanna look at that across the breakfast table? That looks worse than Gene Simmons and Kiss. Wow. They look like beasts. And these are the women judging the hell out of me and criticizing me. Ain't that pretty? How'd you like to go out with all them chicks? Oh, there's guys that'll slobber at the Y with them. How'd you like to date Button Chin? Surprised they need to put a zipper on the mouth. Zip. When you get tired of hearing them, you just shh, quiet. Or you could date that. Her BO is probably more powerful than a man. Some men might like that. Let me smell your armpits, Brittany. Oh wait, she's not into men. She's a man who's into women. Huh. Interesting. This is a rapper. How'd you like to date her? got a decent looking body, but when she opens her mouth and all that foulness comes out, you think you're gonna have peace in your house? You think you're gonna have peace in your house with that? Nope, not at all. So let me show you. My life is not easy. I struggle like anybody else. There's people that struggle worse than me. This is my life. This is a picture of my life. Yeah, I'd like to have a woman standing on my ship with me, but I don't. But guess what? My life is like that. The bow goes down and you're like, oh, here we go. God will keep the ship sailing as long as he wants. And if he wants to deep six it, he can. The last thing I need to do is bring some GHETTO DRAMA queens on my ship and sink it fast. I don't need that. I'm not interested in 747s. I'm interested in a ship. I want a beautiful woman so when I get tired of holding the wheel, I can go in the ballroom and say, "Milady, dance with me." No, what I want is unreasonable, and it's unreasonable. It's not going to happen today. People keep saying, oh, God will send you the right one. I don't believe that anymore. I don't even believe I'll get married again. I don't know how much time I got left. And then there's something else that's hitting me that's bothering me. I'm getting older. Ladies, I could lose my eyesight, my hearing. I've got this tinnitus. It's getting worse. I've often said that God's going to have me go out bad. I hope not. I hope the rapture happens before I can't take care of myself. Who's going to love me when I can't do anything anymore? Only God. Only God. I admit, would I date a woman in a wheelchair? Would I date a woman who's a quadriplegic? No, I would not, because I can't get anything out of that. I'm guilty as charged. That's why I don't believe in the marriage vows. I think you got to be very careful about that. In sickness and in health. Do you really know what that means? That woman that you're lusting after in that little tube top, picture her in a wheelchair. Picture you raising her arm to shave it, and you got to take her to the toilet, and you got to bathe her. Can you love that? Till death do you part, without cheating and having side affairs? There was a woman down at the Soul Bar, good looking. She started dating one of the guys I knew down there, Mike. Mike used to come to the Soul Bar and said, if ever 4 mics come in, the end of the world would happen, and there'd always be 3 of us. And I said, step up to the mics. He had a beautiful woman on his sleeve, and I said, who's this? He said, she's married, but her husband's in a wheelchair, and she's his full-time provider. I said, oh, so she's cheating on him, huh? Well, Mike, she can't have sex with him. I said, so it makes it right, huh? Till death do us part, huh? See, women, they always complain about cheating, but they will cheat when it's advantageous to them. This I know. This I know. I met Christian women that wouldn't date me because they didn't think I was righteous enough. And guess what? Years later, they dated Bab Bob the biker with the big old pot gut balding, big old hairy armpits and the motorcycle jacket. He got her pregnant. And her cute little church choir body went, wow. Oh, man, I've seen it. I've seen turnabout as fair play. I'm glad I didn't marry her saying as big as she got. Or they're still beautiful, but now they got a baby in tow. They're in a miserable, bogged down marriage. And I just look at them and go, that's funny. You passed me. And now you're looking at me seeing my freedom and my free spirit, and you are sorry. Women deserve everything they get when they got a bad attitude. Bad. I watch these teenagers, they've been raised in church culture, and they got a bad attitude. I'm sorry, I'm sick and tired of it. Does Jesus make the difference? Sometimes, no! And it's not his fault. It's ours. We're human, and it's tough. Find a good woman in the church. Yeah, right. Let me know how that works. And I'm listening to women on my channel and men. The reality is, we're getting old. Us Gen X's, we're losing it, man. We're on the other side of the hill. And when I look at people that are worse than me in church, or any women that are my age that are out there, and they still got that nasty attitude. They lift up their arms and their lunch lady arms, and they're looking at me like I'm not worthy of them. I'm like, I wouldn't date you. Well, what are you going on about? Give me a break. We got a woman at work. She's 63 years old. Not bad looking for age. Put a lot of makeup on though. Dyed the hair, frosted white, blonde. She's got some guy that pulls up in a big diesel truck with a side advertisement, thinks he's a big kahuna. Living with him. She's got that pizzazz and swing. She's good looking. I get along with her. She's very nice. But I'm like, you couldn't date that and make that work. She's 63 years old acting like she's in high school still. So I don't care what you people think of me and my dressing. I know there's some women I'm going to be graphic, so if you got children in the room, please take them out. I know some women would love me to put lipstick on and kiss them right here. I would love doing that. I'd have fun. See, I'm open-minded in some areas, and in some ways I'm not. When people are nasty and cruel and judgmental, I'll shred them verbally. I take delight in that. You want to say and think that you're better than me, I'm going to reduce you to shredding, like a business shredder that you put your documents in and they come out all... I don't care, and I will not take it sitting down and be silent about that kind of a double standard. I will not, Sam, I am. I won't do it in a roller coaster car. I won't do it on the planet Mars. Do you have any questions? Please call the I Don't Give a complaint department and leave a voicemail. I'll get to it after a month. I love the fact that there are women on my channel that are humble enough to admit about their struggles and their heartbreaks. I'm touched by that. You women on my channel have made me softer and more compassionate. So if you hear me preach harshness, please understand, women got all the excuses in the world why they can be biatches, justify, rationalize. Where am I? Nuts. Did I go through that bag already? Yep. Time to open a new Aldi's. Deluxe whole cashews. Look. I want to date, but can I be honest with you? I'm not Mr. Godly in every way myself. If a woman was being promiscuous with me, I'm not strong enough to say no. It's been a long time. Would I sexually assault a woman? No, I don't believe in that. But if a woman's being promiscuous and provocative and she's in my house and she's pulling on me, yeah, I'm going to definitely mate her. Then I'll feel the guilt. I'll feel like I disappointed God, because I did. But ladies, the friends with benefits, if you think you can do that and God's going to bless it, He doesn't, He won't, He can't. Stop deceiving yourselves. If we don't do things God's way, please stop believing the lie and drinking the Kool-Aid that because you had a strong, stubborn will, wanted to do it your way. Frank Sinatra went to his grave saying, I did it my way. And can I be honest with you? Can I give you some context? God's looking at him saying, but you didn't do it the way. Frank Sinatra is in hell, waiting to be thrown in the lake of fire. We don't like to say that because we immortalized the guy. Frank Sinatra had a great singing voice. The Christian song had better not be I Did It My Way. I should have 100 likes today. I struggle to get 38. Proof that people in the internet world are not after truth. if I was a woman, black, white, or Hispanic or Asian, and I'm showing all this, they'll be watching me no matter what I'm doing. I could be giggling or going, ew, and have tons of followers. Pop-Tart Barbie Girl's got money coming in. She's got views that I'll never have. Ice cream guy, I don't hate him. No animosity. He could take a blizzard with a spoon. Do we get on a so watch his blizzard videos. It's mindless pablum. Mindless pablum, but he's got the views and people are donating to him. I can't even get the stupid super chat donation set up, so I had to turn it off. Life is unfair, it's cruel. Preachers that are teaching falsehoods make more money than me. Girls taking off their clothes make more money than me, and I work my ass off and they don't. Mechanics can rape me at the garage. I just got a quote for tree service. The price went up. Just to remove half the tree hanging onto my side is $3,000. I'm doing it because I don't want to worry about it taking out my electrical wire or hitting my roof. I have to protect what little I got. I don't have a helpmeet. I don't have a woman coming up saying, Michael, you and I both got enough money, let's work for this. I don't have a woman where we can come together and go in the same direction. That is almost non-existent. I got excited about one. I've never met her face to face. I see a thumbnail picture. I don't know what she's like. She said, come my way, we'll go buy a house in the country. I'm like, wouldn't that be awesome? You have to get to know somebody. Because if you don't sign on the dotted line until you know what you're reading. I am open. I would date and marry a white woman if I knew she was a helpmeet suitable for me. That same woman offered me a job. She said, I'll get you a job with the pay you deserve. But guess what God has told me after all my years? You have followed and chased women to Hong Kong, to Alabama, all over the place. No more. If a woman's in love with you, you got your castle. She needs to come your way. And even if things don't go her way right away for getting a job, she needs to serve you. Then you and her sit down and say, let's go here. I feel like to do it any other way is to be program failed. A man is not to follow a woman. A woman needs to place herself under the headship of a man. Now, the Bible says that he who finds a good wife obtains favor from God. I get that. But men chasing women around, moving into their house, moving to their place, you are denying your headship. How much is a woman interested in me? How much does she love my house? How much does she love me? What's her motive? Does she want to manipulate and take over? Does she want to boss me, control me, change my clothes, change this? Or does she look me in the eyes and purse her lips and say, I love you. I love you just the way you are. It's a battlefield. It's horrible out there. As we would say, it's horrible, horrible. I don't know, man. And we forgot to even mention all the bad, irritating habits of things that men and women do that drive each other up a wall. Can you live with those things? Feminism has ruined most women, and that right there is a hurdle that's very hard for us men to surmount in a relationship. Women got to read the Bible and read exactly what God says is required of them when in regards to us. They're not to get up into our face. They're supposed to be chaste, gentle, and meek, and love us and submit. Most women are not geared for that. Our society has not set that as an example, as a blueprint. Hollywood hasn't. Shoot, they got lead movies with women with guns drawn, with their nipples poking out. They got 344s going on. Then men are sitting there looking at this, and they're next to their wife, who looks like this. Then they're going, man, I wish you could look like that. Hollywood is a death trap for a marriage. Hollywood has been destroying marriages successfully. And to listen to them say, we're against guns. Oh, really? But you produce violent movie after much? Shut up. If women love Hollywood more than God's word and they know more about every celebrity and every rapper and every basketball and football player, that is not a godly woman. She's not into God, she's into the secular culture. You're going to have a problem. I promise you. If the man's so into his damn truck that he dumps all his money into it and doesn't care about your femininity, he don't need a wife. Yeah, said that too. Isn't that fun? Look. I hit a gold mine when I went to the store and they had all the flavored cheese, man. Look at that. That's just delightful. I like the see, I support biracial. This is biracial cheese, man. It's non-discriminatory. White in color. I like that. That's the best cheese. And people think, oh, Mike's into black women, he wouldn't be into me. That's not true. I think there's some beautiful black women, but most of them hold a philosophy and a view of God and the world that is not according to truth. I love some beautiful Hispanic women until you see evidence of the drama, the hate, the in-your-face Jezebelian rebellion. I'm like, nope, that ain't for me. You get into white women dress barn culture. How's Mr. Mike today? I will not have that in my house. That dress barn stuff goes in the burn barrel. Your fakey, superficial talk, you leave that out there in the street. No thanks. I don't know, man. I divorced Christian women. I did. There's this myth going around when you marry a believer that everything is bliss. I could have probably married some non-Christian women and had more peace in my house than I did with a believer. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Now, the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. And many of us men and women have done evangelistic dating. There was this beautiful woman. There was a guy upstairs where I lived at the Hacienda. He was not a fine man, but he had money. And he had a hot woman at his side. He came down. I said, man, you got a beautiful girl. Mike, all she talks about is Jesus. I said, I'm a Christian. He said, yeah, but she pushes it, Mike. She pushes. His name was Doyle. She was smoking hot. She was a 10. Isn't that funny? Women don't want a Christian man. They don't want to date me. They'll date an unbeliever who's in rebellion. And then, you got to get saved. You got to get saved. And she's dressed with everything showing. I'm like, Christian women are a liability. They go after the devil. They dress like they came out of a fertility cult temple. And they're going to sit here and tell me, I want a godly man. I've seen date sites. I'm a Christian woman. I will not date a man who lusts. Every picture's in a shirt skimpier than this. All the skin, all the boobage, all the cleavage. I wrote and I said, Christian, huh? This looks like an ad for Playboy. Now, I don't care if a woman dresses skimpy for me, with me, But if you're doing that when you're away from me, you're not in love with me. You're in love with you and the attention you can get. That's the problem. You marry a cutie, okay? You were attracted to her. You were attracted to her because she looked like that. When your back is turned and she's walking out there dressed like that, now you got to worry. How many men are going to be going, dog, dog, dog? You see what I'm saying? And then you got women on my channel that will tell me, Mike, looks isn't everything. Some of them are saying it out of a pure conscience because they're good looking and they're truthful. Others know that they let their body go to hell and they want to get me to think that they'd be a wonderful wife for me. If I don't have sexual chemistry looking at a woman, it doesn't matter what you have. Crucify me for that. God made Michael with a high sex drive. I cannot force myself to get a boner for something that will not rise to the occasion. I will not need Viagra. There are some women, they could take off all their clothes and nothing would happen to me. I'd be like, please put your clothes on. I'm sorry. And I've been crucified for that. There's nothing wrong with me having a desire and wanting what I want in that regard. But I also realize the dangers of a beautiful woman are manifold. High maintenance is usually top of the list. The rest me biatch attitude. They're going to get up in my face when they don't get their way. You see it at church. The few good-looking teens, one's become an adult, they got that stuck up written all over them. They're not dressing. They're wearing dress barn clothing. What are they so uppity about? They're sitting there with their pudgy mother going, ha, 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 and laughing at dumb, nothing that's even funny. Every time the pastor says something in his message, it's almost like the Brady Bunch with that canned laughter. Sheesh. And then this one woman who's big and heavy says, I was in my recliner trying to rest. Yep, I could see her living in the recliner all day. I'm going to come home from work. Chip bags, Fritos bags, pop cans all around like a man. See, you're marrying men today, women. Men, you're marrying women. You're marrying men. You know, they're acting like men. They're behaving like men. And those same men will get on here and say, what the F? Why are you dressed like that? Are you gay? Are you a trans? Are you gay and you don't want to admit it? That's why you dated a woman who acts more butch than you? Huh? I've had people tell me on my channel, I don't agree with this guy and everything, but he does make you think. Yeah, that one. You may not like me, but it's never boring here. You think you got me figured out, and then I say something, then the women will say, oh my gosh, I was laughing my butt off the whole video. I could not believe you made me laugh. And I'm not even trying to make you laugh. I just say what comes naturally. No script. I'd love to be the evening news. Dun, 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 dun. Evening news with Ocean Heart. Good evening, everybody. The news is a lie. Don't watch it anymore. Have a good night. I love the mission theme of NBC. I thought it was so cool. Not all women are honeypots. Some are more like petri dishes. Lots of bacteria and toxic culture and viral things in there. A lot of men out there. Oh, women like that tough guy. And I've noticed they're really fascinated with degradatory culture. The rap with the offensive lyrics, the wannabe tough guy that didn't have a good father as an example. You know, women are attracted to poor role models. So I'm not even going to compete with that. I was at the flea market. Several black women, they smiled at me broadly. They had the most beautiful smiles. And man, you look like you'd be fun. And they were all looking, all of them were pushing 300 plus pounds. They were nice as pie. I said, well, thank you. I just do this. They probably would have dated me if they rolled over me in bed. I'd be like that woman in the Facebook, and she's posting on a phone pole, have you seen my missing dog? And her back's to you, and the dog's smashed up against her butt. It's crushed. Yeah, I can't get excited about, it's so funny, flesh is flesh, but there's good looking flesh and there's bad flesh. It's like when you're eating a good steak and you bite into that fat, you're like, you think I want to kiss on that? Lick that? No. Can't do it. And ladies, I know some of you on my channel are heavier. I'm not blasting you, please. Different strokes for different strokes. Folks, there's men that like that. A lot of the black men out here like the big women. They love that. Some guys have told me to my face, I want to go up and slap that ass, and it's this wide. I'm not into that. I think, boy, that's got to smell horrible. We're all different. I am not putting anything on a woman that I don't put on me. I don't expect her to be perfect. Don't cheat on me. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't chew tobacco. Don't be obsessed with TV and cable, and don't go to Starbucks. I expect you to be similar to me in those regards. Is that unreasonable? Am I picky? No, I'm not. I'm expecting you to be what I am, except a female version. Slender, in shape. You don't have to work so hard. You got a metabolism. I don't want to fight that. I feel like a lot of guys got a bad deal when they married that beautiful church lady. Right after a year of marriage, they went, and you look, turn sideways, says Goodyear's got the Super Bowl scores down the side. No, that sucks. I mean, that's just entrapment. And then to have a pastor get up there and say, you can restore the love that was lost in your marriage. Pastor, I can't even get a Woody anymore looking at her. How's that going to work? Now the men silent suffering. Mike, I struggle with lust. Mike, I can't divorce. Mike, I struggle. Oh boy, here we go. Churches, stop pushing for marriage. Please. It's not looking pretty. People confuse my message with hate. There's some Tom girls I've seen, they're hot. I've been attracted to Tom girls. When I was on the playground, you could kiss all over them, chase them around. They were fun. But now, 2026, I don't want a Tom girl living in my house that's listening to mother FWB, mother N-word, F-word. This toilet. I like music, and that ain't music. That grates on me. Dogs all over the house, on the bed, on the couch. I notice a lot of women got to have all this other stuff in order to survive. Michael's a boat mentality. If I'm in a storm and there's something I need to toss overboard to keep the craft upright, goodbye stuff. It's in me now. If I lost my job, I'm putting this up for sale and I'm calling it quits. I'm leaving. That simple. I'm not going to stick around no more. I don't want that to ever happen. When I lost my other job, I sold a truck that takes too much diesel. I took a loss on it. I started throwing cargo overboard. It was going to need some work done to it. It was going to cost a lot of money. And I just said, you know what? Time to let it go. They say the test of a man and his love for a woman is if he inherited $1 million, will he stay with her? They say the test of a woman's love for a man, will she stay with him when he loses his job and not because of irresponsibility? I think that's accurate. is an attractive, and I preface that, is an attractive woman that makes me look at her and go, wow, you're hot. Would she come down here? Would she live in this wretched place? Not my house, but this wretched area, and love me and be content in God? If she can't, she ain't the one for me. Because I've learned, what are you after? Are you after things your way? Or are you a helpmate for a man? Now, I'm not talking about being miserably married to me. I'm not talking about that. If I have to chase the woman to go to where she is, it ain't right. But if God wants you with me, he'll provide you a job. I'll be honest. I'm going to say it. Even if I had a woman that was the voracious woman of my dreams, I shudder to think of bringing her down here. This place sucks. Dude's going to have trouble here. She gets out in the workforce and sees the way things are, she's going to go, Mike, I can't stand it here. I don't want to do that to my woman. I'm more inclined to say, well, I ain't rich. Take care of my home. I'll go to work and God will make it happen. We ain't going to be rich, but we'll get by. How many women would do that? Not a lot. They want money. They want their $8 Starbucks. They want their cable TV. They're glued to their phone more than the man. I'm going to tell you something. People say the internet destroys marriage. No, it doesn't. The internet reveals what is already within you. I have lust and I'm mad enough to admit it. And I can blame it on everything. Even if I married the perfect woman, I will still have lust because I have a sin nature. And women put this trip on men. The diversity of breasts is fascinating. The diversity of beauty. Now, here's the difference. I can have lust, but if I have a woman and I'm in love with her, I can look in the eye, yeah, she's cute, but you, I want you. Oh, she's hot. She'd be fun for a quick little fling, but I ain't going down that road. I got you. If you can't have that discussion with your woman, she's a jealous, schizophrenic, neurotic wreck about that. Woman, you do that to a man, you have no business marrying him. That's bullcrap. Stop thinking you're the only pretty woman. If women are walking by dressed like this and there's no bra, it's not about love. It's about animal instinct. I see those nipples go by. I'm like, dang. It sucks. I'm a Christian. You got to struggle with the guilt from how far I fall short of God's glory as a Christian. Then you got to be married to a woman who's heaping shovelfuls of condemnation on you. That's not a helpmeet. That's tyranny. All right, folks. Time to go. Thank you for coming. 43 likes. That's it. And I'm not putting down the ones that liked it. I noticed that the algorithm is now against me. We're not getting 40,000 views. Maybe I better put those high heels on and get me a handbag. Nope, I won't go that far. I would try the high heels on if I could find a pair that fit. They might be more comfortable with my archers. Give me a little more height. Y'all have a good day. God bless. Be safe. Till next time.